Hello, everybody. My name is Ushoshi Sengupta. As you heard, Ushoshi means the first ray of sun. I had the great honor of representing India at the Miss Universe stage in Las Vegas, Nevada in 2010. What it did for me was it gave me a friend in every country. I think it's one of the most beautiful experiences of my life where I got to meet such amazing women from all across the world, and I realized that the world is such a small space. We really need to put ourselves out there, go out, travel, and make new friends, meet new people. Only then you understand that you are such a smaller speck of dust in this wide, wide universe. My talk is about charting your own course. As a beauty queen, a lot of people expect us to look glamorous all the time. We don't wake up looking like this. There is a team of hair artists, makeup artists, designers, people, photographers, videographers who work on us and who showcase their work through us to make us look like the way we do. While working in the entertainment and media industry, I realized that the glamour and the success that my crown got me had a purpose. And very soon in life, I wanted to understand what was the purpose that life was throwing me at. This is me in the 2010 Miss Universe pageant. I think one of the biggest honors I grew up with was being born to a father who was serving the Indian Air Force. So wearing the sash of India and being known as India was one of the biggest honors I carried in my life. But giving you a little idea about where I come from, I come from a very typical middle-class Bengali family. My father loves his fish and rice, and my mom loves my father. That's how I grew up. My father was serving the Indian Air Force. I was the first daughter born in a family after 82 years. So obviously, a first girl child born in the family after 82 years. So obviously, I was one of the most pampered child growing up. This is my maternal grandmother, my mom's mother. From my mother's side of the family, I was the first grandchild. My grandmother and I shared a very, very special relationship. She was my guide, my secret keeper, my spiritual leader. I learned a lot from her about spirituality and what a life driven by purpose means. My grandmom had 4 daughters. One of my aunt, Shubho Banerjee, was born deaf and mute. My aunt was a very special child. My grandmom would tell me stories about my aunt, how she never had a great relationship with my mother, like any siblings do. They would always fight and always wonder who's going to do the housework. My aunt was a very special one, so obviously she always bailed out, and my mother ended up doing most of the work at house. My aunt, who was born deaf and mute, happened to also be a survivor of trafficking. Growing up, our family met with a devastating incident when my aunt was trafficked from our house. She was barely 18-year-old when some traffickers came home from the comfort of our home. She was lured into buying some toys and they trafficked her. Our family was devastated. Then started an expedition of looking for her. Almost after 2 years, my aunt was found in Haridwar and she was brought back home. But everything about my aunt changed. She was deaf and mute, so she never spoke, but her behavior changed forever. She was this very happy kid who would jump around, meet new people, and was always excited whenever some guests came over. But now when she came back, she was scared of human beings. She hardly interacted with anybody. A year later, we lost my aunt. That news totally crippled my grandmother. And a year later, my mother conceived me. While I was inside my mother's tummy, my grandmom one day had a dream. She saw my aunt talking to her, and my grandmom asked her that, "Hey, Shubho, how are you talking?" And she said, you know what? I now live with Mesdi. Mesdi is my mother. And she taught me how to talk. And my grandmom woke up and she thought, why would she dream something like that? And then I was born. When I was born, my grandmother always believed that I was the reincarnation of my aunt. She would always say that in my last lifetime, I could not speak. So God gave me the gift of gab in my this lifetime. And, um, and I was born on 30th July, ladies and gentlemen, which is United Nations World Day Against Trafficking in Person. This alignment and this sheer coincidence of my birth and my grandmom's dream gave me a purpose in life. From a very young age, my grandmom truly believed I was my aunt's reincarnation, and she would always tell me that, oh, you talk so much, people can never win you with words. In 2010, when I won Miss Universe India, I was introduced to the glamorous way of life, but I lacked a purpose. My grandmom always told me, your success is defined by how many lives you can change. Obviously, as a 21-year-old, I was not bothered about that. When I won Miss Universe India, I was given an opportunity to work with the ANI Foundation. It's a foundation based out of New Delhi, which works in providing, empowering the sex workers across the country on awareness on HIV and AIDS. This is me and Stefania Fernandez, Miss Universe 2009, at the Kamathipura. Kamathipura, ladies and gentlemen, is a place in Bombay where, which is a red light area, and a lot of women you see here are trafficked from across the country, Nepal, Southeast Asian country. This was the first time I entered a space like this, and I worked with women who were extremely happy of being themselves. They were not insecure. They were not, I mean, even if they had a lot of sadness in their life, they knew how to be happy in a general day-to-day life. After ANI Foundation's work, I kind of got an opportunity to continue my journey, raising awareness about AIDS, HIV, and work with these women across the country. But I still lacked a purpose because it wasn't a cause that was close to my heart. At this moment, I met Urmi Basu, who's the founder of New Light Kolkata. My association with New Light gave me a renewed purpose. New Light is an organization based out of Calcutta, which has been relentlessly providing education, shelter, and a safe space for the children of the survivors of trafficking and gender-based violence. My work with New Light helped me understand my purpose and also helped me understand what was the universe trying to align with all these coincidences in my life. What I realized, ladies and gentlemen, that a life driven by purpose is more meaningful. A life driven by purpose gives you so much happiness that the definition of success changed in your life. For me, as a 21-year-old kid, the idea to be successful was to be on the cover of a magazine, to walk on some of the most amazing ramps of the world, which I did. But again, coming back home, I never found a purpose on how it was changing others' life. Of course, it was changing my life. I was making money, I was traveling the world, but I never had anyone to share this happiness with. When I went to New Light, my purpose of working with New Light was to provide a safe space for the women who were working there. But my life changed when I met the children and I realized the power of education and the power of giving an opportunity to these children and how it makes a difference in their life. I continued my work with New Light. For the last 5 years, I've been working with New Light, and this is one of the projects that I superheaded with New Light. These are the women you see with me are the mothers of New Light. We did a campaign for the T2 Telegraph. They are on the cover of the Telegraph with me. These are the mothers. Some of them are survivors of gender-based violence. Some of them were trafficked. Some of them have grown up and living in that area. When you go on a weekend in the lanes of New Light, you will find them having a weekend just like ours, sitting with friends, chilling, having a drink, wondering what the weekend will bring to them. But behind all of that, they know that their life is struck by grief. Because most of them, ladies and gentlemen, who have been in this place are trafficked by the people they know. International Labour Organization says that 40.3 million people in the world are, uh, are victims of modern day slavery, out of which 72% are women and children. Most of the girls and women who are trafficked by people they know, lovers, brothers, and sometimes even fathers. These women grew up in this area, but New Light has helped them come out of the space and have a life for themselves. New Light does various projects on nutrition, on skill building, skill based jobs, education jobs. We also have different projects for children's mental health and physical health. But what I love the most is working with the children. When I go and I spend time with these children, the kind of love I have received is, I can never put that in words. These are the children. The one next to me is Beauty, and the one sitting on my lap is Nana. We did a campaign for a jewelry brand called Nikki's, which was featured on the cover of Telegraph. I realized that I had this platform which brought a lot of media attention because every time a mic was given to me, I knew that people were listening. And I wanted to use this opportunity to talk about the stories of these children. When you sit with them and when you ask them what do they want to become, their answers would be doctors, engineers, space cadets, and sometimes they're kind to say that they want to become a model just like me. What happens is when you spend time with these kids, you understand how education can transform their life. Some of them are the first generation to go to school. Some of them are the first generation to have a decent job. And some of them are the first person in their life to survive being trafficked. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Shehnaz Khatun, one of my students. A project that I drive with New Light is also about grooming, empowering, and also creating a space where we teach them manners, etiquettes, business communication, and we transform them and we put them into various jobs. Shehnaz has been placed with a brand called Momo I Am, and she's been working for the last 2 years. She's probably the first person in her entire family to have a job. This is Rashmi, one of my favorite students who is working with One Eat Commune. When Rashmi walked in to our workshop, she had to take care of four brothers and sisters. Her mother was absolutely incapable of doing anything to protect and serve to the family, where Rashmi stepped up and she took over. Rashmi's education and her entire process of this grooming was funded by New Light, and the process through which they kind of transform themselves is always regulated and moderated by the members of New Light. Recently, KKR, our home team from Calcutta, took all of us to watch a match at the Eden Garden. Why I'm showing you this is, ladies and gentlemen, to make you understand how things that is meaningless for us, that is small for us, going to a restaurant, going to watch a match, makes a huge difference for these children and their life. To be on the cover of a magazine might be a small thing for us, but it's a big deal for them. And how truly the platforms that we have, each one of us, can make a difference in the life of the people who truly need it. I continue to work with New Light because my purpose was to create an opportunity and a platform for the survivors of trafficking. Why? As I said, because the universal alignment of me being born on the day of United Nations Day Against Trafficking in person. To conclude this talk, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that life always shows us signs. life always throws signals. They always gives us, that stroke of luck. We have to keep our eyes open to watch them, to catch them, to know that what is our purpose on this planet. We come to this world because we have a karma to fulfill. The human life and experience is a journey to live, but a human life is meaningless if you live that alone. A human life is meaningless if you want to achieve everything for yourself. My mom always tells me this, that when you are successful, it is important to see how many people are clapping for you, because those are the people that's your tribe, and those are the people you have to give back to. In life, I have had a great opportunity to travel across the world, meet some amazing people, wear amazing outfits, eat good food, but the purpose was served when I found a tribe to share that with. And that is what real beauty queen versus a real beauty queen meant for me. That is what, charting my own course meant for me. And honestly, in this life, when there is so much chaos, when you disconnect, only then you can connect to the purpose that's within you. In life, I feel that it's very important to find a purpose, because research says that people who live a life driven by purpose are more happier mentally, physically, and spiritually. I'm going to sum this up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening to me. Before I conclude, I just want to say one thing which I had learned, which is a song which says, रोके तुझको आंधिया क्या ज़मीन और आसमां पाएगा जो लक्ष्य है तेरा लक्ष्य को हर हाल में पाना है. Thank you so much. Thank you.